Another one bites the dust, and another one down, and another one down. Another one bites
Turn
the
it
dust.
up, guys.
Hey, we're gonna get you too. Another one bites the dust.
Tempted to just leave it on. Chance Reynolds here from LLC Freedom. There's this moment when I start these that I often wonder, where did my life go wrong? How is this how I'm gaining attention in my business? But I don't know. Sometimes you gotta get gimmicky. It's unfortunate, but it is a reality. So today, last day of the storytelling lessons, we're talking about my favorite. I've been teasing it all week. It is lie, truth, story. And it is definitely the most powerful way to overcome a possible objection to any sort of objection so if you're a beginner, you may not know exactly what I mean by objection. So when you're making an offer, when you're creating an offer that your customers are going to see, you need to keep in mind what their objections are going to be, and you need to handle those objections in the offer when you're making it. So if you're not just making sure my mic's plugged in here, if you're not addressing their objections, then you're going to have to probably get them on the phone or something like that. And really what you want to do is try to avoid that by figuring out what their objections are up front. And you do that through an ask campaign and through doing kind of some face-to-face stuff before you scale up. You'll see what the common objections are, and then you'll build a lie truth story around each objection as it comes up, so you can handle it before it ever even becomes an issue. Now, one objection that you know you're going to see is if somebody has a higher price ticket. Money is going to be the biggest objection that you're going to see. So one of the things I did when I first learned about lie, truth, story is just to test it out, to see how powerful it was. I have a daily podcast, and I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to wing a lie, truth story on education and what I think about education, and whether or not the price of like $1,000 online courses, some of them $1,500 to $2,000, $3,000, all the way up to $10,000 for some courses. Just see if a lie truth story, I could figure out a way to overcome price objections to a potential $1,000 course that I'm sure I'll eventually roll out a $1,000 course, as I've talked about on here before. I create courses. So the lie is that it's too expensive. That's a simple, easy part that's already done for you. So the lie in your customer's mind is that what they believe that's incorrect is that $1,000 is too expensive for a course. The truth is that if they were to go to college and get the same information and go get a degree rather than taking an online course for $1,000, they would probably end up paying, $30 to $60, all the way up to $100,000 for that education, for a lot of courses that don't really have any payoff. It doesn't make a lot of sense if you're going to be an entrepreneur to take, a course that's going to take you 3 months on Beowulf or something that's just really not going to provide you any insight into the world of entrepreneurship. Now, will you learn something? Will it be valuable? Yes, I'm sure you could learn a lot and it would be very valuable. But would it be worth the $3,000 to $5,000 that you're going to pay for that one course? Of course not. No, that's completely ridiculous. So that's kind of the story that I told there, is how did I discover the truth? So whatever the truth is, how did you discover that this thing was a lie? There's two different ways you can kind of look at it. So the lie in that case is that the online course is too much money. You're going to come up against that objection. The truth being, $1,000 is not much, considering you're going to learn how to go from 0 to 100 in your business. All the way, you're going to learn the marketing, you're going to learn how to do the promotion, you're going to learn the PR, you're going to learn the tech, you're going to learn how to do your hiring, you're going to learn how to, outsource your stuff to a VA, whatever it is that you're teaching. All that stuff's going to be included in your course. If you were to go to a traditional college and get a marketing degree or a business degree that took you 4 years, you're going to spend $30,000. All I'm asking for in this course is for $1,000. I mean, this isn't a course that I specifically have, but I'm just using this as an example of some way that you could do it. And then you would go into your story of how you discovered that that's the truth. Of course, this has to be a lie. You can't just pretend that this is a lie that they believe. You have to be providing a real truth. You have to be providing something that's actually valuable to the customer. And your story has to be a real story. Now, you want to structure it in a way that, is entertaining. And I can't remember specifically if I took a course that was only on Beowulf, but the only thing I can remember from that course is that we studied Beowulf for like months. I think it was, English literature before 1700 or something like that. Ridiculous. It was like a required course to get my degree. So I just, you don't have to put in every single detail of everything you studied in that course. But the only thing I took away from that course was that I studied Beowulf for a long time. So that's the story. Reading Beowulf and seeing that I've retained nothing from it, I gained nothing from it, is the truth of why $1,000 isn't too much for a course that's going to teach you all these things. When if you were to go to a traditional college, you'd be going into debt, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that maybe you're not paying that money up front, so you don't see that money's flying out the window until you're getting your bills after you're done with college. But you're spending much more than $1,000 and getting much less for your money. And that's an absolute fact with education and the way education is now. So the story is true. It rings true. It knocks out this objection of price immediately. And you can apply this to so many different things in online business, because a lot of people don't understand that there are things like software. Say if you're selling a piece of software that helps build a website, if you're building that website, people might think you need to have a team of people and pay $10,000. They don't know that you can go to a piece of software that will help you build a website and create a funnel that's ready to go in a couple of hours with maybe like an hour of training or something. That's a realistic, true situation. And then if you've used that software, you would tell the story of how it helped you launch your business. How before you were using WordPress and it was complicated and you had to hire a team of people and you had a virtual assistant that was doing it and it was thousands of dollars. But then you found something like ClickFunnels that allowed you to do it in one day. It had a split test mechanism built into it. You're able to test your offers. You're able to run traffic. You're able to do all these things for half as much money. Now that would be a 100% true story. This type of software does exist. And that is a great way to use the lie truth story if you're doing any sort of affiliate offer for a piece of software, which a lot of people that watch this, that's something that they do, are just affiliate offers. Or if you're creating a course, those are kind of the two main ways that I've used it. And so super powerful. It's the most powerful way to structure a story and overcome an objection that I've ever seen. Now, the first person I saw do this was Dan Henry. And he was running a webinar that was like high dollar, application only at the end of the webinar. I knew I wasn't going to be able to afford the 10 grand or whatever it is he was charging at the end, but I know he's a master of telling stories and of marketing and of webinars specifically. So I watched the webinar just to learn something from him, because on his webinars, he provides a lot of value. And he told about how he uses this for his objections in his webinar, and it blew my mind. I was just like, wow, dude really knows his marketing. And I've been using it ever since. I use it on my podcast almost every day. I use it on Facebook Lives literally every time I'm on here. Every single day I've done probably 20, maybe 30 of these now. And I use lie, truth, story more than anything because it's an easy way to format stuff in your head. I don't even have to write them down anymore. I know I've showed you the past couple of days. I normally have some sort of outline on here. Today I just wrote objection, too expensive. That's my whole outline for this entire presentation. So you just use lie, truth, story, and it can get you from A to Z through a presentation and through like a dead spot of where somebody's normally going to interject and say, yeah, but I don't want to pay $1,000 for that course. Why? What's the value of that? Why would I pay so much money? That's just way too much. And then you could say, is it too much? Because I spent $50,000 on a formal education, as you probably did, and I never learned half of the stuff that I'm about to teach you in this course or in this coaching program or whatever it is that you have. So super awesome way to do it. I hope that you can start implementing this into your business immediately, and I know that you'll see results. Let me know, what you want me to talk about next week. I know I'm going to talk a little bit about sales, but if there's any specific type of sales tactic that you'd like me to research and then present on here, let me know, and I'll be happy to do that. Everybody have a great weekend. I will talk to you all on Monday.